What kind of ineptitude is that? I was like, what? And believe me, stick around for this, because this is the biggest, like, display of ineptitude I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so Tuesday, we start stream, and chat, I noticed immediately as I up with my chat will freeze for like 10 seconds at a time, and then I'll get for 40 messages at once. And I'm like, well, that's really weird. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, maybe longer than 10 seconds, maybe half a minute. And it kept happening, and I was like, that's fucking weird. Like, I've never seen that happen before. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, I wonder if that's going to affect my net play. Sure enough, we go on net play. It's lagging. I'm like, well, fuck. Like, my internet's fucked up. And I pulled it up on my laptop, though. I pulled chat up my laptop, and I realized my laptop wasn't lagging at all. And I was like, well, that's fucking weird. That's like Wi-Fi, and this is Ethernet. And so we tried with my laptop, and sure enough, then my laptop was fine on Wi-Fi, but it was bad on the Ethernet cord. And my computer was fine on the Wi-Fi. No lag on the Wi-Fi. And I was like, I've literally never heard of this before. So after a bunch of tech shooting, my chat and I were like, okay, new Ethernet cord. So I run out to a store down the road. I get a new Ethernet cord. I come back. 100-foot cord. I get it to work. Awesome. After I get that cord, we come back. And I think after a little bit more troubleshooting, my internet just went blank completely. Like, I couldn't get anything. There was no service. And I called up Optimum at that point. And they're like, there's an outage in your area. And I'm like, can you please send someone over? They're like, something was happening before the outage. And they're like, well, no, because we can't test it right now, so we can't confirm that anything's wrong. So you have to wait till the outage is over. That'll be tonight. I'm like, but I know there's an issue. Like, this was before the outage. I know for a fact that this was before the outage. This has nothing to do with it. And they're like, no, can't help you. And I was like, this fucking bitch. Okay, whatever. I'll wait for it out. I waited out. Shocker. It's past the time where they said it was over. No internet. Surprise. Who would have guessed? So I called them back, and they're like, okay, well, we'll send someone out tomorrow. I'm like, okay, if you can send out earlier in the day, that's preferable. Because I work, and I can't afford to not work from home. And I made that, like, abundantly clear. I was like, okay, well, we'll put you as a priority. Okay, cool. Guy's supposed to come between 10 and 11. Comes at 9 o'clock a.m. I'm not complaining. Like, I had to wake up early, earlier, but it's fine. I was like, okay, well, I get this done sooner. I can work again. Awesome. He comes at 9 a.m. Looks at the modem. I was like, okay, there's signal. Doesn't do any other tests. Goes outside, and he puts a voltage meter, or he puts, like, a meter onto Optimum's power, or onto my power grid, onto, like, my house's power grid that also has my internet line going through it. And he says, okay, well, there's an issue here. There's 2 amps of there's 2 amps of current going through this. There should be 0. This is our line. Something's up with the PSEG, the power company. You have to call them. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, this is why it's just being impeded. There's no internet because of this. And I was like, that. And in my head, I'm like, how would 2 amps of current stop me from getting internet signal when the modem says there's signal? Like, the modem's getting signal, so it doesn't make, but whatever. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. Sure. So they're like, okay, I'll call PSEG. So I called PSEG. They're like, okay, well, that's weird. We'll send someone out tomorrow, first thing in the morning. Okay. It sounds dangerous. It's fine. I talked to a bunch of people about it. PSEG comes, and the guy comes, he's like, okay, there's no issue. Like, I tested everything. He was here for an hour, too. The guy from Osmond was here for like 20 minutes. The guy is here for an hour. He's like, there's no problem. I went up on the pole. I replaced some wiring. I checked all the boxes on your house. There's no issue going on. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. I spent an hour here already. There's nothing. And I was like, well, what the fuck? And he's like, they need to go. It's probably something with their wiring that they need to fix. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I call back up Optimum, and they're like, okay, so what do you want to, so, okay, we'll send someone out on Saturday. This is now, I believe, oh, no, this is, so on Wednesday. Like, we'll send someone out on Saturday. And I'm like, no, that's not acceptable. I work. I'm going to miss, like, a week of work at that point if you send someone out Saturday. It's like, well, we can't do anything about it. That's when this available slot is. The guy was really nice and said that a supervisor would call me. He was definitely doing his job. The supervisor never called me. I tried calling back. Supervisor never called me. Next morning, again, PSEG comes to my house. I didn't schedule this. I guess when I told Optimum it wasn't PSEG's fault, Optimum messaged or emailed someone at PSEG yelling at them to come back and check because it had to be their fault. So another person at PSEG that I didn't schedule was here at 9 o'clock the next morning. And this guy's, like, pretty smart. I think his daughter's in Columbia. He's a cool guy. We talked for, like, about an hour. Smart guy, clearly. He's worked for PSEG for 30 years. And he's like, okay, you seem like a smart guy. You don't get those around here. He said that verbatim. Apparently, there's a bunch of dumbasses in my town. I'm going to show you something. I told him, like, I minored in physics in college. And he's like, okay, we're going to shut down the power in your house. I was like, okay. Yep, he shut it down. And then he goes over to the internet line. And it's like, there's still current going through this. You have no power going to your house right now. That's not us. This is like, something's going on with the way their system's wired up because we're not even giving you power and there's still current going through that. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Okay. well, so now what? And he's like, well, they're gonna have to send someone out. They're probably gonna have to go up on the pole and fix it. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, like, but this is so weird. Like, the modem is on. None of this is correct. Like, the modem, none of this sounds, like, proper. Like, the modem's on. It says it's getting signal. The Wi-Fi sometimes shows up, but it's just the DNS can't be obtained, whatever reason. Which I couldn't understand. But I was like, dude, like, I feel like this is not that big of a problem. Like, I feel like it's something really stupid. Sure enough, I think about it for a while, and I'm like, I can't replace it myself because I don't have one. But I'm like, the guy didn't even check the modem. Well, guess what? Optimum comes this morning. I tell him that. I'm like, yeah, I don't even think the guy replaced the modem. He just, like, tested that there was signal and then changed it. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And then, sure enough, we bring it up to my room because I wanted the router and modem to be in my room. They're right behind me now. He plugs in a new fucking modem and it works. There was no circuitry issue. There was no power issue. The fucking first dipshit didn't even properly test the fucking modem. That's the first thing you do. Like, who the fuck troubleshoots and doesn't check the modem? Who? What kind of ineptitude is that? I was like, what? The guy literally started laughing. The guy who was here is like, that guy's a fucking moron. Like, what an asshole. He just didn't do his job, straight up. So, PSEG and Optimum were emailing each other for an entire week, yelling at each other that their infrastructure outside is fucked up and telling the other people to continuously come back to change it, only because some dipshit didn't change a fucking modem. Which should have been the first instinct, because when the modem's on and you don't get any connection, you should probably double check that, hey, something inside the modem isn't working. Let's just double check that. Because that's what makes sense to me. If the modem says it's on, but there's nothing going through it, I would check that first. But I can't do that. What was the problem? It was just a bad modem. That's all it was. It was just a bad modem. Nothing else. The first guy, yeah, he fucked up. He didn't check anything. He stayed here for 20 minutes and then called PSEG and told them to come over here. And I couldn't do anything about it. I don't have their modems. I don't know how the fuck their modems work. I can do the router. That's my router, but that's their modem. I can't touch it. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, you're absolutely the most inept human being I've ever seen. How are you an internet diagnostic person and you don't check the fucking modem? How? How does that make any sense? What are you doing? This could have been resolved in like in a day. Instead, I was out of work for 5 days. My stepmom had to use an unreliable hotspot to do her fucking work from home. I played 35 hours of Civ because I had nothing else to do. I couldn't even go on YouTube. I intermittently was able to go on Discord. That's it. Fucking nonsense. No, it needed to be rebooted. It was a bad router. I have modem. I know how to reset modems. I definitely tried that over and over again, and I used a specific reset button in the back of it too, and it just didn't work. Like, the modem was clearly fucked. But it's like, how do you not check that? That's like the first thing you should check. If resetting it doesn't work, maybe it's just broken. Right? Anyways. That's why I didn't have internet. That's why I couldn't stream. That's why I couldn't go to tournaments this weekend. I was gonna go to G-Town's birthday bash, one of the best fucking TOs on the planet, and one of the nicest people in the world. I wanted to go with him to his birthday, but I can't fucking go. Because some dipshit didn't check the modem.